Did you know that a pack of baseball cards can be worth more than your car? Well, that's just one of the shocking secrets revealed in this episode. Get ready to learn about the untold story of baseball cards, how they went from simple promotions to multi-million-dollar treasures. We'll take you on a journey through time, uncovering the surprising facts and hidden gems that make these little pieces of cardboard so valuable. So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover why baseball cards are worth more than you think. Before we dive into the world of baseball cards, let's take a moment to appreciate the sport itself. America's pastime has captured the hearts of millions with its timeless appeal. And what better way to celebrate this beloved sport than by collecting cards that showcase the greatest players of all time? But baseball cards aren't just for kids anymore. They've evolved into a multi-billion-dollar industry with serious collectors spending thousands, even millions of dollars on rare cards. It may seem like a hobby for the young and the young at heart, but don't underestimate the value of these tiny pieces of cardboard. Now let's take a trip down memory lane and explore the history of baseball cards. Did you know that the first baseball cards were actually advertising pieces? That's right. In the 1860s, tobacco companies began inserting baseball player images on their cards to promote their products. These early cards were made of a thin, flimsy paper and were not intended to be kept as souvenirs. However, as the popularity of baseball grew, so did the demand for these collectible cards. The first truly collectible baseball cards were issued in 1878 by the Duke Sons Company. These cards featured players from the National League and were much thicker and more durable than their predecessors. Over the years, various companies have produced countless sets of baseball cards, each with their own unique designs and features. From the classic Topps cards of the 1950s to the modern-day Panini cards, each era has its own devoted following. But what makes some of these cards worth so much money? Well, it all boils down to supply and demand. Rare rookie cards, particularly those in excellent condition, can fetch astronomical prices. Take, for example, the 1950 Topps Mickey Mantle card. This card is considered by many to be the holy grail of baseball cards and is one of the most valuable rookie cards ever sold. In 2022, a PSA 10 mint condition copy sold for a whopping $12.6 million. That's right, $12.6 million for a piece of cardboard. But this isn't just a random occurrence. There are several other cards that have sold for millions of dollars. The 1909-06 Honus Wagner card is another prime example. This card is extremely rare, with only 50 to 60 known to exist today. Its value was solidified in 1991 when a PSA 6 card sold for over $3 million. Other legendary players like Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson also have rookie cards that can fetch eye-popping prices. The 1914 Babe Ruth card and the 1948 Bowman Jackie Robinson card are highly sought after by collectors and have sold for millions at auction. Now that we've established that baseball cards can be incredibly valuable, let's take a closer look at some of the factors that can affect their price. First and foremost, the player's popularity and accomplishments play a significant role. Cards featuring players like Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, and Willie Mays tend to be more valuable due to their legendary status in the sport. Additionally, the rarity of a card can also impact its value. For example, short-printed cards or those produced in limited quantities are often more desirable and thus more expensive. Condition is another crucial factor. As with any collectible, the better the condition, the higher the price. Centering, corner wear, and overall surface quality are all taken into account when grading a card's condition. And speaking of grading, it is important to note that professional grading services like PSA and BGS can significantly increase a card's value. Getting a card authenticated and graded can provide collectors with an objective assessment of its quality and rarity, which can boost its market value. As we wrap up our exploration of the untold story of baseball cards, We hope you've enjoyed learning about the surprising facts and hidden gems that make these collectibles so fascinating. If you're a longtime collector or a curious beginner, there is no denying the allure of these tiny pieces of cardboard that hold so much history and value. Remember, if you ever come across an old pack of cards in the attic or find a random box in a garage sale, don't underestimate their potential worth. Do your research, get expert opinions, and take care of your collection because you never know what hidden treasures you might have in your hands. Until next time, happy collecting. It all started with a pack of cigarettes. Well, that sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, but it is actually the not-so-glamorous origin story of one of the most valuable baseball cards in history. In 1909, the American Tobacco Company included a set of 50 baseball player images in their cigarette packs, each meticulously hand-drawn by artist C.B.S. Gross. These weren't your typical glossy collectible cards we're used to today. They were literally just small, simple black and white images on cigarette cards, which were then distributed to kids who collected them like modern-day Pokémon cards. Fast forward to 2023, one of these 1909 Honus Wagner baseball cards, graded a perfect 10 by PSA, sold for a whopping $7.25 million at auction. That's right, a simple little card from a pack of cigarettes that once cost a nickel now worth more than some people's homes. But why are these old beat-up looking cards sometimes worth so much money? And how do I get in on this action? We Lions tell you how the seemingly random world of baseball cards became a multi-million-dollar treasure hunt right here. From humble beginnings, baseball cards have come a long way. In the early days, they were just a simple form of advertising, a way for tobacco companies to get kids hooked on their products. It wasn't until the 1930s that they started being issued by major league teams as a fun promotional giveaway. The first baseball card set to really take off was the 1933 Goudey set featuring the iconic Babe Ruth. These brightly colored cards with their glossy finish were a hit with collectors. But it was the inclusion of gum in the packs that made them a household name. By the end of World War II, baseball cards were a summertime ritual. Kids collecting, trading, and swapping cards while enjoying America's favorite pastime. The hobby took off again in the 1950s and 60s, with iconic sets like Topps and Fleer dominating the market. These sets featured larger, more colorful images of the players along with rookie cards of legends like Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays. But it was the 1970s and 80s that saw the peak of baseball card popularity. The introduction of the All-American set broke new ground with its unique design and focus on action shots. Meanwhile, other sets like Donruss and Prospector brought out the kid in all of us with their wacky, almost psychedelic designs. What makes this era so special, though, is that many of these cards have skyrocketed in value over the years. A 1971 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, for example, can fetch tens of thousands of dollars, especially if it's in mint condition. So what exactly determines a card's value? Is it the player's stats, their position, or maybe the year the card was released? Well, it's actually a combination of all these factors and more. First, there's the player's popularity, or rather their lack thereof. Rookie cards, especially those of lesser-known players, can be surprisingly valuable. Take, for instance, the 1950 Topps card of Willie Mays. Despite being one of the greatest players of all time, Mays' rookie card is relatively common and not particularly expensive. However, the same can't be said for his 1951 Bowman card, which is incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Then there's the condition of the card. A card's value can increase dramatically if it's in pristine condition. Factors like centering, corners, and edges are taken into account when grading a card's condition. The higher the grade, the rarer the card and the more it's worth. But perhaps the biggest factor in a card's value is simply its uniqueness. One-of-a-kind error cards, or those with unique printing variations, can be extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. So what should you do if you find a valuable baseball card? First, get it authenticated by a reputable source like PSA or BGS. Then it's a good idea to get it graded, which will help protect the card and increase its value. Finally, you can either hold onto the card as an investment or sell it to a collector or dealer. But if you're hoping to make a quick buck by buying and flipping baseball cards, be warned, it's not all that easy. Many people get into the hobby expecting to get rich quick, but they often end up losing money instead. Buying, selling, and trading baseball cards should be seen as a fun hobby, not a get-rich-quick scheme. And speaking of getting rich, let us take a look at some of the hidden gems that are currently selling big in the world of baseball cards. You might be surprised at what's in store. Now check out this rare 1955 Topps Mickey Mantle card. This particular card is in almost perfect condition and has been graded by PSA. With its bright colors and iconic image of the legendary Yankees outfielder, this card is a must-have for any serious collector. And with a starting bid of only $99, it could be yours for a pretty penny. But if you're looking for something a little more modern, check out this 2000 Upper Deck SP Authentic Derek Jeter rookie card. This card is numbered 106 out of 500 and has been autographed by Jeter himself. With its unique design and stellar condition, this card is sure to fetch a high price at auction. But no matter what you're looking for, there's sure to be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered in the world of baseball cards. Just remember to do your research, bid wisely, and most importantly, have fun. And if you want to learn more about the untold story of baseball cards, stay tuned for more updates.